All right, so we're diving into a topic today that has generated some serious buzz. Big Meech, the Black Mafia family. You guys have a ton of questions, and it seems like you really want to get past the headlines, really unpack this whole thing.
It's fascinating, isn't it? This whole idea, this allure of the outlaw. I mean, it's a tale as old as time, right? We're drawn to figures who kind of operate outside the lines, amass power, wealth, but in ways that most people wouldn't or couldn't.
Yeah, like we all grew up on those classic gangster films, right?
Yeah.
But real life, it's a whole different ballgame. And you guys, you really honed in on Big Meech himself. Like, first and foremost, who is this guy? Why is his name, practically synonymous with this whole world?
Demetrius Big Meech Flenory. But to really grasp why his name carries so much weight, you have to understand what he and his brother, they built an empire, a cocaine empire that stretched coast to coast. But, and this is key, BMF, they weren't just content with the streets. They understood image, you know. They were intertwined with the music industry, had their fingers in a record label even. That kind of crossover, that blend of street power and then, a touch of the glamorous life, it's a potent mix, right? No wonder people are still captivated.
Almost like they were untouchable for a while there. At least that's the image, right? And then you hit us with, how did BMF get caught? Which I thought was interesting because it speaks to that kind of mystique.
It's really a classic example of the long game, right? Like law enforcement, they're playing chess, not checkers. You know what I mean? We're talking years of investigations, surveillance teams tracking every single move. They follow the money, right?
Yeah.
Shell corporations, real estate deals, it all adds up. And it takes time to build a case that'll bring down an entire network, especially from the top down.
Makes you think twice about those flashy purchases, doesn't it? Knowing that paper trail could be a mile long. And speaking of money, you all wanted to know the specifics. Like, how much did Big Meech actually have when they caught him?
That's where it gets interesting and a little murky. A lot of times, those specific figures, they're kept deliberately under wraps, especially during any kind of ongoing legal battles. Asset seizures, hidden accounts, offshore holdings, it's a whole thing. It's rarely as simple as finding a suitcase full of cash.
It's like a real-life treasure hunt. Right. And maybe that's part of the allure, too. The mystery keeps people guessing. Now, you also asked about Terry Flenory, Big Meech's brother. They built this empire together, but their paths diverge. What happened to Terry?
Terry, or Southwest T as he was known, his story, it highlights that even when you have what appears to be a united front, individual choices, legal strategies, they all play a role. He was deeply involved in BMF, no question, but his sentence, it differed significantly from his brother's. It reminds us that justice is rarely black and white, and every case has its own intricacies.
It definitely adds another layer to the story, right? That real life is full of these twists and turns. Speaking of which, you guys also had some questions about Kato. Sounds like we've got some BMF TV show fans in the house.
It's a popular one, and deservedly so. It's a compelling watch. But, and this is always important to remember, these shows, while they might be inspired by real events, they do take creative liberties. The essence of the story, the core, might be there, but characters, relationships, timelines, they might be, shall we say, adjusted for dramatic effect.
Right, so we can enjoy the show, but got to keep in mind that real people and real lives are involved. And it kind of grounds us back to, well, where is Big Meech now?
As of today, Big Meech is still incarcerated. And there's a lot of information available publicly about his sentence, even potential avenues for release. But it goes back to those consequences, right? They catch up no matter how powerful or captivating someone might seem.
No escaping the long arm of the law, as they say. We've covered a lot of ground. We've got crime, we've got celebrity, family ties, and enough unanswered questions to fill a book. What's your big takeaway from diving into all of this?
I think what's most fascinating is that the questions about Big Meech, about BMF, they tell us as much about ourselves as they do about them. Our own fascination with power, with the allure of this kind of underworld, our desire to kind of decode what makes these figures tick, it's a story that just keeps resonating.